My name is Dodger, and I play Aggie, who is a were-lizard sorcerer. So Aggie is a sorcerer, which means that she was born with power. She did not study to achieve power like with wizards, no. But even though she's had magic her whole life, she has a lot of anxieties and she really doubts herself. And she gets thrown into this whole situation with these two people that have a lot of confidence. One of them has confidence for a reason and one of them has confidence for no reason at all. And I think that it makes for a really interesting dynamic and she's really fun to play. What I find really interesting about her is she is very powerful, but you don't get to see it very often. There are brief moments where she's either scared into using it or angered into using it, and you see how strong she really is. And it makes for these situations where throughout the show you see her grow and use it a bit more, but you wind up wondering, like, why don't you just use that all the time? But again, she has very low confidence, so it's probably good for her being with the people that she's with right now. Aggie has a lot of anxieties, and I had a lot of anxieties as a kid. I used to just lay in bed and worry about everything. I would go to my parents in the middle of the night and confess to like little lies that I had told that don't affect anyone, just things that didn't really matter. And I think through making Aggie, and especially making her very powerful, I'm able to kind of laugh at that aspect of myself because I still have those worries sometimes. So she's very fun to play and she's very fun to kind of live through and deal with those things that I have. Husky came to us and was like, hey, any character that you want to play, any character that you think would be really interesting to create, go for it. We're just gonna have fun with this. And I am a huge fan of lizards. I love lizards. And I also love that lizards, for whatever reason, like snakes and everything, have this sort of mysticism to them. Like there's a lot of magic implied with them. And so I loved the idea of playing a girl, like a small girl who's covered in scales, like just looks very bizarre in a way. And even though she should be a badass, she's just not, you know? Like she has the look for it, she has the power for it, but she second guesses herself all the time. And I think that's what I really loved about making her, is that we're all kind of like that. You know, we all have a lot of potential to us, but we're our own worst enemy. So I kind of liked that aspect of her, and I liked making her that way. It was really fun playing Aggie because in this fantasy world, she's a sorcerer. So obviously there are moments when she's doing magic and they would have me, you know, like yell as though I'm throwing a fireball and things like that. But then there were also weird moments where, I don't want to spoil anything, but there were weird moments where maybe I was transformed into a thing and had to be in there making weird noises, and that's all just so great, like so fun. And you get to have those moments too where the guys on the other side are like, hey, do you think you could do this sound? And then all of us in there are trying to do this really weird sound and they're like, okay, cool, you guys nailed it. We're just like, what? And then you walk away going, turns out I'm really good at that weird thing. And now I know. Broken Quest is a fantasy-based adult humor show. It's exactly what all of us love to watch and exactly what we had a lot of interest in creating. And so I think that that's gonna come through, and I think that everybody's gonna really enjoy it. Anybody who were to sit down and watch Broken Quest, you'd get the fantasy world, you'd get a wide variety of characters, you'd get some physical comedy, you'd get some pretty brainy comedy that maybe not everybody's gonna get, and if you get the joke, you're gonna be like, yeah, I got that joke, you know? And I think that there's a lot of good stuff I'll put into it, and I think that a wide variety of people are actually really gonna enjoy it, and that's fun. The creation process was super fun because we all lived together, so we just sat in our living room and we were like, all right, what would be like a super cool show to do? And so we wound up settling on this fantasy world and having a lead character that's got a lot of confidence but is kind of an idiot. And then we just created all of these characters around that, and we got to spend a whole lot of time focused on, you know, who we are and what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and how we would all be in this situation where we would be traveling together and what the quest would be. And it wound up just going from there, like getting the writer and then looking at scripts right off the bat. And I don't know, the very beginning, was really fun because it was so fluid. Like, we were all just so willing to go with whatever and just make it fun. Working with Husky and Ro obviously was fantastic because we all get along really well and we were able to just create this very silly thing. And then working with Sean Baby as our writer, he just really clicked with us and really got our humor. And, you know, I love Jesse, I love Davis, those are the other two consistent people in the show, but every guest star, honestly, was just amazing. And especially being in the booth and listening to them doing their voices was so funny. We were all just laughing through all of it, and that's what made the whole process just really fun, is the people that were involved. We had all spent a lot of time either reading fantasy books or playing fantasy games. Like, we all had an affinity for that sort of world, but we had never done a project set in that world. We had done like sci-fi-ish stuff before, but the idea of doing something that was in this kind of medieval land where there was magic and swordsmen and just all of these crazy things, it gave us a lot of room to play and be able to create whatever we wanted and do whatever we wanted within this world. And I think that that was very appealing to us, especially since we couldn't honestly think of anything that's currently going on right now that's set in that world with these sorts of characters. So the idea of it was just really fun. The process of doing voice acting is really great because, like, with the three of us, with Husky, Ro, and I, we all got to stand in there together. And so just having that dynamic there and all being in the same room and having these characters that we were portraying, it was really fun. I would love to do more stuff like that. Glasgow was our executive producer, and he is so funny and has been really supportive through the entire thing. Like, he was the one who came to Husky originally and said, "Hey, do you want a show?" Husky was like, "Yeah, I want a show." And from that point on, he has been nothing but supportive and excited and so willing to help us turn this into exactly what we want it to be. And I think that his energy really helped us out, honestly. It's funny because when Sean Baby was first brought up, I had no idea who he was. And I had a couple of friends who I mentioned the name to, and they said, "Oh my gosh, he's worked on so much cool stuff. And he's done so many funny things having to do with video games in the past," and I had never heard of him at that point. And so I was really excited to look and see what he would write for us, because at that point we weren't sure about a writer. We weren't sure whether or not we were going to find somebody who could gel with our concept and our idea and our sense of humor even. So getting to read his original scripts, like, obviously there were things that we all got to collaborate on and change and make better, but he really got it. Like, he really got what we wanted to do, and that was awesome. I am so excited for Broken Quest to release because we have put so much love and effort and just joy into this project. Like, I don't know, we've spent so much time turning this into something that we really are passionate about, and I'm really excited for it to finally happen and for people to see it, and I think that everybody's really gonna love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're really, really excited about Broken Quest, and we hope that you enjoy it. If you want to watch it, it'll be on youtube.com/Polaris, so there will be links in the description below. And otherwise, I hope that you guys are doing fantastically, and I hope that you enjoy this wonderful, weird thing that we've created. Bye-bye. Mwah. Thanks so much for watching. If you would like to watch any of the other extended interviews by cast or crew, feel free to click on any of their lovely faces.